And then now today, it's like it's commercialized.
Right.
Trying to tell me my history, but you commercialize the history now. Black History Month, you making money off of it. You throw that in the McDonald's commercials. You throw it in, advertisements. Black History Month. NFL, the NBA, Black History Month.
Right.
Nike throws it with shoes. Oh, this is the Black History Kyrie Irving. This is the Black History Kobe.
For $350.
You know what I'm saying? For $300, $500. A nigga in the ghetto can't even afford, man.
Right.
Can't even afford. But I don't need you to tell me about my history. And on the flip side, I feel like black people, we be like, well, I know this just from doing Black Authentic Truth, just from the type of videos I used to do. I still do them, but historical videos on black people that you don't know about, that you don't hear about on Black History Month.
Right.
Black people don't really give a damn about that history like that.
Right.
They don't really care. And you got black channels, you got black historians, you got black organizations that try to cram all of this history and tell people about, oh, did you hear about him? Do you know about them? Do you know about her? She was the first such and such. He was the first such and such black person to do this.
Right.
Cram it all into the month of February. And I'm tired of that. I've done that before, so I know what it is. You go on Instagram right now, and there's black channels that are trying to give you 300 facts a day about black history. But it's no disrespect to those channels, you know what I'm saying? Because there are brothers and sisters that do care about their history, right. But it's a very small, very, very small sector of our people. It's not a lot of us. It is important to talk about your history for the simple fact that your oppressor, they want to erase it.
Right.
They won't teach it in schools. Critical race theory.
Right. Oh,
they don't want anybody to even know, especially the atrocities that happen in America. They like, hey, we don't want to be looked at as oppressors, as violent, as evil people. We want to be looked at as benevolent and kind and considerate, and we champion diversity.
Mm-hmm. Or being the first black this, the first black this, first black that. Why is it so important for a black person to receive an Oscar or an Emmy? Why is it so important to say the first black NFL head coach to win a Super Bowl, first black quarterback to win a Super Bowl? Could you touch on why you would perceive, or why would you think that black people think it's so important to be the first black?
I don't think black people look at it like it's important to be the first black. But we put the emphasis on that. Our culture puts an emphasis on that, and we have to say that for some reason.
Right.
Well, I think the reason is because we live in a society that is a dominated society by another race, white supremacist society. And so this society has always said that you're lazy. It has always said that you aren't great. You're not great.
Right.
This society has always looked down on black people and pushed stereotypes that are negative. And so these are positive stereotypes that say, look what we can accomplish.
Right.
Look what we have done. This is a great thing. And it's almost like a slave mentality.
Right.
It's almost like all the rest of the Negroes is still on a slave plantation, and then one Negro says, look at so-and-so, girl, she got off the plantation. Brother, he got off the plantation. He has become a major assistant to an overseer. Right. Like he's look at what he's done for himself.
Look at his mansion.
Look at his mansion. Look at his clothes.
Right.
He is on a horse. Have you ever seen a Negro on a nag?
Nag.
Who's that nigga on that nag? So like the whole idea, even with Black History Month, is we're trying to remind black people. In fact, that was the history of Black History Month. Carter G. Woodson it started as a 2-week thing. It was 2 weeks where they wanted to remind and encourage black people of their history, right. Encourage them to look at their history.
Right.
So even back then, they were trying to encourage black people to look at their history. That goes back to my original point,
Right.
where black people don't give a damn about their history. We don't give a shit about our history. Let's keep it 1,000. And when you think about Black History Month today, it's a month, but it used to be a week. And looking back from a historical perspective, Black History Month was instituted. The month was instituted by Lyndon B. Johnson, the president. And they chose February because it coincided with Abraham Lincoln's birthday.
Oh, sounds about right.
And Frederick Douglass's birthday, I believe. Y'all can fact check that, but I think I'm right. Yeah. So at the end of the day, I know we're here at the end of February, but moving forward, I really don't put too much emphasis on Black History Month. Now, when it comes to like linking up with people, networking in the Black community, yeah.
Right.
But as far as learning about my history, learning about my people, I don't need a Black History Month.
Why would you think, okay, somebody would say, just say somebody who doesn't know why, and they were inquiring, like, why don't majority of black people give a damn about their history?
I think because our history, give me a second, 1 second. I think because our history is a history that, to a certain extent, we feel like there's nothing great in our history. We have been raised to think that we are the people who were just the slaves in this kingdom, in America, in the West Indies, and abroad. And so a lot of black people don't want to revisit that.
Okay.
We don't look at anything as being great in our history. And I think that we only look at it when it is put in front of our face by other people, by America, when they stand behind it and say such and such was a great person, this person was a great person, you should be like him. And the main person that they do that with is Martin Luther King, you know. And then you have your token black people. You have Martin Luther King, you have Frederick Douglass, you have Harriet Tubman, you have Rosa Parks. Right. You know, they're not dealing with Marcus Garvey. They're not dealing with who else? Nat Turner. Right. They're not dealing with Malcolm X. They're not dealing with Huey P. Newton. Right. They're not dealing with any revolutionaries or black people that would inspire black people to look at their existence in a different way. When you really start to open the books, you start to see that, man, we have a hell of a history and we come from a hell of a people. Like, we come from a people who are God's chosen people, the greatest people on the planet Earth. You know, we just don't know that, you know, but as time is going on, process of time, you see people are starting to open books. A lot of black people are leaving the Christian church, are searching for different answers. In this time, when it's the information age, we live in a white supremacist dominated society. Right. Without it being a racist society towards black people, Black History Month would not even exist. You wouldn't even have to say, hey, look at this great black person. Look what they did. Look at this invention. Right. Because we would already know it. We already know we're great. And we already know the whole world history is black history. And so I would say that I first said, but I don't need a Black History Month. And I meant that. But what I mean by that is that I'm Black history 365 days of the year. Right. I have a whole year, I have my whole life to continually, you know, acknowledge the accomplishments of my people and learn about my people, not just crammed into a month.